Admiral Zethkar of the Vorthak Empire, considered himself well-versed in the art of intimidation. His species had conquered 17 star systems through a simple formula: overwhelming force followed by systematic extermination of resistance. The humans of Kepler 442b had seemed no different from the countless other primitive colonies they had swept aside. He was wrong. The holographic display before him showed readings that defied comprehension. 700,000 human warships had materialized at the edge of the system, their quantum signatures blazing like angry stars against the cosmic dark. The fleet stretched across light years, a metal constellation of vengeance that made the Vorthak armada look like scattered pebbles. Impossible, Zethkar's tactical officer chittered, his carapace trembling. Our intelligence indicated they possessed maybe 50 capital ships in this entire sector. The admiral's mandibles clicked in what passed for nervous laughter among his kind. 3 days ago, the destruction of New Haven Colony had been a routine operation. The human settlement of 12,000 civilians had offered no military resistance. Standard protocol: eliminate all inhabitants, strip the planet's resources, move on. Another footnote in the Empire's endless expansion. But humans, as they were rapidly learning, were not standard. The communication array crackled to life, and a human voice filled the command bridge, calm, measured, and absolutely terrifying in its restraint. This is Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Corps. You have 47 minutes to surrender unconditionally, or we will demonstrate why humanity has survived every extinction event our homeworld has thrown at us for the past 4 million years. Zethkar's intelligence briefings had mentioned human adaptability, their unusual pack-bonding behaviors, their tendency toward what the Empire classified as irrational emotional responses. What the briefings hadn't conveyed was the sheer industrial scale of human rage. Through the viewports he could see them now, sleek dreadnoughts bristling with weaponry that shouldn't have been possible with their technology level, carrier ships disgorging clouds of fighters like angry insects, and at the fleet's heart massive ships that could only be described as planet killers. Each vessel bore the same designation: Remember New Haven. The human fleet moved with the precision that spoke of countless hours of drill and preparation. This wasn't a hastily assembled response force. This was the awakening of a sleeping giant. "Sir," his communications officer reported, voice barely a whisper. "We're receiving similar reports from 17 other systems. The humans have deployed fleets of comparable size at every major Vorthak military installation simultaneously. 17 systems. Millions of warships." The Admiral's compound eyes widened as the scope of humanity's response became clear. In 72 hours, they had mobilized the largest military force in galactic history. Not to conquer, but to punish. How? Zethkar demanded. How did they build so many ships? Our scouts reported limited industrial capacity. His xenobiology specialist, a captured Zenthari scholar, spoke up from her cage in the corner. "Admiral, you fundamentally misunderstood their nature. Humans don't just build weapons when threatened. They transform their entire civilization into a weapon. Every civilian facility can become a shipyard, every citizen a soldier, every resource a tool of war. They call it total war, and they've perfected it over millennia of practice on each other." The countdown timer showed 34 minutes remaining. Zethkar had seen the footage from New Haven's destruction, the scorched earth, the melted settlements, the complete absence of life. Standard intimidation tactics that had worked on dozens of species. But humans weren't responding with fear and submission. They were responding with mathematics. The scholar continued, her voice growing urgent. "Your empire killed 12,000 humans, Admiral. By our calculations, they've deployed approximately 58 ships for every life lost. They're not trying to win a war, they're solving an equation. The equation of proportional response." Through the tactical display, Zethkar watched as the human fleet completed its deployment. They had formed a perfect sphere around his forces, weapons charging with the cold efficiency of an industrial process. No dramatic posturing, no attempts at intimidation, just the quiet, methodical preparation for annihilation. 26 minutes remaining, the human voice announced. "We would like to remind you that our offer of surrender remains available. Otherwise, you will experience what we call overwhelming and disproportionate retaliation. It's not cruelty, Admiral Zethkar. It's simply applied engineering. The Admiral's name. They knew his name. Of course they did. These were the same creatures who had spent centuries cataloging every star in their local cluster, who had detailed psychological profiles of every known sapient species, who approached warfare with the same systematic thoroughness they applied to everything else. "Sir, incoming transmission from High Command," his communications officer reported. "The Emperor is ordering full retreat from all human territories." Zethkar's mandibles went slack. The Vorthak Empire had never retreated from anything. All fleets are to withdraw immediately to core systems. No further engagement with human forces. The Emperor's exact words were, "We kicked a hornet's nest thinking it was a mouse hole." The timer showed 18 minutes. The Admiral looked out at the impossible fleet surrounding them, each ship crewed by beings who had just demonstrated that they would mobilize their entire civilization in response to the death of a single settlement. They had built this armada not in months or years, but in days. Because somewhere in human space, in places called Detroit and Shimane and Sao Paulo, vast industrial complexes had hummed to life with a single, unified purpose. "Open a channel," Zethkar ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of understanding. "This is Admiral Zethkar of the Vorthak Third Fleet. We surrender unconditionally." The response came immediately, spoken with the same terrifying calm. "Surrender accepted. You will be escorted to neutral space and released with a message for your empire. Humanity does not seek conquest. We seek to be left alone. But we remember our dead, and we ensure such remembrance is never necessary again." As his fleet powered down weapons and prepared for escort, Zethkar finally understood what his intelligence officers had failed to grasp. Humans weren't just another species to be conquered. They were the universe's answer to the question, what happens when evolution selects for both extreme cooperation and extreme capability? The answer was 700,000 warships appearing in 72 hours, and a message that would echo across the galaxy, touch one human settlement, and face the entire species. The lesson was learned. It would not need to be taught again.